If you have struggled with getting your shower floors perfectly smooth and properly pitched, you will find helpful information in this video. It is aimed at the professional who already understands how to install the drain, the liner, and the backer board, and has experience pitching the slope with regular wet concrete mix. The goal here is to demonstrate the superiority of using deck mud instead of regular wet concrete mix for shower pans. It is easier for creating a smooth, consistent slope, faster because you don't have to wait for the pre-pan to set before installing the pan, stronger because it requires less water in the mix, more accurate because it doesn't slump after tooling, and better for drainage since it is more porous, thereby effectively preventing the growth of mildew in the grout. The successful mortar bed shower pan begins with the installation of blocking to provide support for the pan liner as required by code. This is usually done by toe nailing 2x4s or by stacking 2x2s. In this demo, the small glass dish will serve to represent the bottom portion of the clamping drain and will be about 3/4 of an inch above the subfloor. Since the shower area will measure roughly 6 feet from corner to corner, the slope will be about 3/4 of an inch above the drain hub, which provides the 1/4 inch per foot requirement. In this example, the drain is about 3/4 of an inch off center, so we will use a 2x2 on one side and a 1x2 on the other side to create a uniform slope. 15-pound felt roofing paper provides the membrane that retains moisture during the curing process of the pre-pan. If the concrete is placed directly on the subfloor without the aid of the vapor barrier, the wood absorbs the moisture and the concrete is unable to cure properly, resulting in a much weaker pre-pan. The wire mesh, in this case poultry netting, is also required by code. It is quickly fastened in place by just a few well-placed staples until it can be weighted down by the mortar. The next step will be to mix up the mortar. You can find an accurate tool to determine how much you will need for your project by Googling John Bridge Deck Mud Calculator. The formula for deck mud, also known as dry pack mortar, is given on page 15 of the 2013 edition of the Tile Council of North America Handbook. It is simply 1 part Portland cement to 5 parts sand. Professionals generally arrive at that ratio by one of these two ways. Either by mixing 2 60-pound bags of Quikrete sand mix with 25 pounds of all-purpose sand, or by mixing 2 50-pound bags of all-purpose sand with 20 pounds of Portland cement. The proper ratio of cement to sand is crucial to the success of this system. If it is too rich, it will inhibit the moisture passing through the grout from finding its way to the weep holes in the subdrain, thereby creating conditions conducive to an environment where mold and mildew can thrive. It is important to mix the dry ingredients so all of the particles of sand become coated with cement before adding the water. Add water sparingly and save some of the dry mix for adjusting the batch if necessary, because it is easy to overwet the mix. Mixing is quickly and easily accomplished by chopping with the hoe. A large mixing tub, like the one pictured here, is available at the Home Depot for around $20. Proper water content is crucial to success. You should be able to form the mix into a firm ball that doesn't slump from being too wet or crumble from being too dry. If the mortar is properly mixed, you should be able to pack it down and stand on it without leaving much of an impression. The next step is to build the pre-pan. Place and distribute the mortar. Pack it down tightly. Then screed it off evenly and pare it down smoothly with the wood float. If done properly, the perimeter should be level and pitched at 1/4 of an inch per foot from the corner to the drain. Finally, finish it with a steel trowel. It's best to allow the pre-pan to set overnight. However, you can proceed with the installation of the liner, taking care to work gently on top of the fresh mortar or by using walk boards on foam rubber. I'm skipping the backer board installation for the purpose of this demo, but after installing the liner and the backer board, mark the perimeter for the pan. I prefer to mark the backer board to line up with the top of the wooden float, but you may choose to install the wall tile first and then float the floor up to meet the wall tile. Next, place gravel or tile spacers over the weep holes to prevent them from being filled with mortar. Then pack mortar around the drain. Add mortar and distribute it evenly so that it is about an inch thick. Then pack it down. Apply a second layer of wire mesh, taking care to leave 1/2 inch of space to prevent puncturing the liner. Add piles of mortar and pack them down to hold the mesh in place. Cut around the drain. Fill the rest of the bed, distribute the mortar, and pack it down tightly. Screed it off, pare it down smoothly with the wood float, then use a scrap of tile to pare down around the drain. Pare down the rest of the bed until the slope is gradual and consistently pitched from perimeter to drain. Finish with steel and let it sit overnight. In the morning, you're ready for tile.